Today we're working on a Ferrari 250 long wheelbase California. It's been subjected to a ground up world-class restoration and we're very privileged to be chosen to be doing the interior. I feel people choose O'Rourke Coachtrimmers to do their retrims is because we build up a personalised relationship with the customers. Our work speaks for itself. We have very good communications built on trust. We have a fantastic track record and we research the interiors thoroughly before we start work on them. When a car like this comes to us, a normal routine would be to strip the interior out, prepare all the surface of retrimming, but before this, we forensically look for signs of originality, for fibres, old bits of trim, original screw holes, and with this car, we had some very interesting finds. This 1959 Ferrari California has a very interesting history. The first owner of the car was a young lad who was 17. He accepted this gift from his father, along with a Mercedes Gullwing, as a bribe not to leave home too early. With the integrity of our retrims, we strive to respect the history of these fantastic cars and the artisans who first created them. Through our extensive research, we found out that these California Ferraris either had 7 stitch lines or 5. This one came to us with 6. This is not the original cover. It's been retrimmed probably in the 70s, maybe the 80s. And maybe the trimmers copied what was there originally to him, but we didn't know this for sure. Maybe it was a mistake on his part. The original moulding, I can see these are original, they're so crap and it's very stereotypical of how they were originally with the holes behind them. That's a very original moulding, doesn't tell us anything about the 6 or 7 lines in the trim. Same as this one, shows that the original owners had a great time on these seats, they haven't stood up too well. But on the back seat of the rear, you could clearly see an original moulding, and I've just marked out on the top of the old stitch lines, you can clearly see there would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitch lines on this piece. So this is a great piece of archaeological history for a trimmer. We can find this and it's proved. Originally the trimmer may have had an off day and made 6 stitch lines, bit of a mistake then, or who knows. So that is great, that's verified that we need 6 stitch lines on this car, and that's what we did. Also, when I was underneath the dash of the car, carpeted over the top with the original diamond stitched vinyl, and this is a lovely find for us because we can rematch exactly the original vinyl, which we have done, and the height and widths of the diamond stitches, how they were fixed with screws and the back ends, 1/4 inch foam on calico, and that's all we needed to know to how the piping was run, to do all around the centre console under the dash. Old photos showed us where it went and that we knew how it went. This non-original seat cover tells me a few things about this cover. Firstly, if I look to the back of it, the hilarious material they've used does the job, it's no problem with that, but the double stitch line they've got on their tuck and roll flutes is very American, where they get their lever, stitch it straight on top of the foam, turn the lever and the foam over, then stitch down the back. This gives you a very flat flute. The flutes you see here are very different to how we trim flutes. The trimmer has done a 1 stitch line, turn the material over on the top of that stitch line, and then stitch down the back of his foam and lever. And what that gives you is a double stitch line at the end. It's a very American. It gives you a great flute in terms of much lever you have in the width of the material, but it doesn't give you that angle of flutes. English craftsmen of the old days and Italian would stitch down one side. It was faster and quicker, a bit more marking up originally to do, but that would give you 1 flute and it would always be on a doorstep angle coming down. From forensically pulling these cars apart over many years, we've collated enough information to know exactly how these cars were made, what materials they use and the techniques they set out to achieve their objectives, and we can recreate that and deliver the perfect award-winning interior every time.